$137 billion. That's how much money airlines will lose through the end of next year because of the pandemic. Even as domestic air travel picks up in some parts of the world, airline losses this year are expected to be a staggering $51 billion, before being trimmed to $11 billion next year. All this even after U.S. carriers received $25 billion bailout last year from the U.S. government. The new financial figures are according to the International Air Transport Association, that represents 290 airlines and 82% of the global air traffic.
Still a long way to go. International air travel is still heavily restricted as a result of government measures. We know that once those restrictions are removed, the demand for travel remains very strong.
But at the annual meeting in Boston, the talk was also about another emergency the airline industry is contributing to: carbon emissions. If the global airline industry was a country, it would be the world's 6th largest polluter. Out of all of the carbon emissions that are released from passenger planes, 25% comes from aircrafts that are landing or taking off out of airports here in the United States. After that, the second biggest emitter is aircraft in or out of airports in China, followed by the UK, Japan, and Germany. The airline industry announced a goal of net zero airline emissions by 2050, but already Chinese carriers are reluctant to agree, and analysts are skeptical that goal can even be met.
In 2009, the aviation industry agreed to cut emissions by half in 2050. If you look what happened afterwards, emissions actually grew faster in the 10 years after the announcement was made. So overall, this is a really positive announcement, but it does point to the need for governments to hold the airlines to account for their actual obligations.
These are projects that literally take carbon out of the atmosphere.
In an effort to lower emissions, U.S.-based carrier United Airlines announced it will buy 100 fully electric commuter planes, but it will only be able to fly 400 kilometers and carry 19 passengers. In an industry with aspirational goals to become a cleaner form of transportation. Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera, Boston.